It feels like a lot of pressure. The phone is an iPhone 11 Pro Max. Its appearance is still in pretty good condition. The original charging cable hadn't even been unwrapped. A triangular charger head. Why send the charger from so far away? Could have saved on shipping costs. Alright, let's begin the repair. We checked the phone and found it had no baseband. Without an IMEI number, the phone definitely can't be activated. We contacted the fan. He said the phone had been repaired before but wasn't fixed. That's why he went through the trouble of sending it to me. Let's try our luck again. After removing the motherboard, we found that the stickers on it had already been torn off and the dual-layer motherboard had already been separated. We used a heating table to separate the motherboard layers and took another look. Under the microscope, we found that the baseband chip, RF chip, and baseband power chip had all been tampered with. If any of these three chips are damaged, it can cause the baseband to fail. First, we'll remove the three tampered chips, then we'll clean the solder pads. Upon closer inspection, we found that one solder joint on the RF chip was broken. Could this be the cause of the baseband failure? We'll create a manual solder pad. Some people quietly watch the video but secretly like, comment, share, or follow. People like that are just so lovely. Okay, the solder pad is ready. Next, we'll apply new solder to the baseband CPU. This chip is encrypted with the CPU, so it can't be replaced. However, the other two chips can be replaced. We replaced the two other chips with new ones. Everything was reinstalled onto the motherboard. Next, we'll reattach the upper and lower layers of the motherboard, put it back in the case. Let's power it on and test it again. At this point, it's still showing no baseband. In this situation, reflashing the firmware may fix the baseband, but after flashing, we found it still had no baseband. This is quite awkward. This could be due to the baseband CPU being damaged or the bottom layer of the motherboard being faulty. The only option now is to replace the entire lower layer of the motherboard and test it again. We removed the motherboard again, separated the layers, then removed the encrypted baseband CPU. The Wi-Fi chip is also encrypted, so we removed that too. We cleaned the two encrypted chips, applied fresh solder, then wrote the chip data into the new motherboard, cleaned the solder pads, reinstalled the encrypted baseband CPU and Wi-Fi chip, then applied new solder to the new lower motherboard, reattached the upper and lower layers of the motherboard. Okay, we'll assemble and test the phone again. After booting, it still had no baseband. We'll reflash the firmware and give it one last try. Success or failure depends on this. If it still doesn't work, after thousands of miles and hundreds in shipping costs, the feeling will be quite unpleasant. Fortunately, after reflashing, the IMEI number appeared. This means the baseband is back. We'll remove the motherboard again, apply new waterproof foam, replace the old shielding stickers with new ones. Then reinstall the motherboard into the case and test all functions. When testing the rear camera, we found another issue. The 2x telephoto lens on the rear camera wouldn't open. We replaced it with a working camera to test again. This time, it opened normally, so the camera was also faulty. We continued reassembling, tightening all screws, and cleaned the interior, applied new waterproof adhesive. Then we informed the fan that the phone repair was successful.